Thanks for checking out this video. All right, it's pretty early to be talking about this, but let's go ahead and talk about what is coming to Shudder for October of 2025. They already released it because they're trying to get people hyped up, and they released it as here's everything coming in September and October, which is kind of a weird thing because just like a week or two ago, they just released what was coming in September, and they should have just released what was coming in October at that same time if they wanted to do this. I don't know. But anyway, I will say a little disappointed with what I'm seeing for October. I was really holding out hopes that they would go really big. Now, there is some good stuff. I will say that. There is some interesting new stuff, and there is some good stuff coming. But I thought they were going to go a lot bigger. And there is something very important to keep in mind. Shudder isn't its own company. They are owned by AMC, unfortunately. And corporations are horrendous and only care about money. They don't really care that much about the actual product. So it's not the fault of the people who are working for Shudder that this type of stuff ends up happening. It is the fault of AMC as a corporation. Corporations are awful. They destroy so many things. They care only about money. They have no ethics, morality, none of it. So that's my rant about how terrible corporations are. But anyway, I do like Shudder still. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to skip over the September stuff that's included in here because I released a video just going over that. So it's on my channel. You can just look for all that stuff. So going to pick up with kind of like their exclusives and originals, which I will be having no spoiler reviews for. Except maybe not that show Guts and Glory that's supposed to be coming in September, the Greg Nicotero show, because I've been asking for screeners and the company, it's not the Shudder people or IFC people who are handling it. It's another group and they are just not responding. I had to send an email to them today just saying, hey, unfortunately, if I don't get the screener soon, I'm not covering it and I'm not promoting it. Not like I'm anyone all that important, but I actually am one of very few people who's actually covering stuff on Shudder, so I will say that. But anyway, we'll see. Every now and then the ball gets dropped on that type of stuff, but for the most part, I should have no spoiler reviews out before these come out. All right, the first one is VHS Halloween, which they had already announced this a few weeks ago. They're always around this time doing one of the VHS films. A collection of Halloween-themed videotapes unleashes a series of twisted, blood-soaked tales, turning Trick or Treat into a struggle for survival. Now, this is the first time they're actually telling you ahead of time what the segments are, like the titles and who did them. So the first one is Diet Phantasma. And sorry for all the noise, my one cat's in the blinds. I hopefully you can't hear it, but anyway. The first segment is Diet Phantasma, directed by Brian M. Ferguson, who did Pumpkin Guts. That sounds kind of familiar, the Pumpkin Guts. The next one is Fun Size, directed by Casper Kelly, who did Too Many Cooks. Not familiar. Then Home Haunt, directed by Micheline Pitt Norman and R.H. Norman, who did Cosmetic. Not sure. Kid Print, directed by Alex Ross Perry, who did Her Smell. Not familiar. UT Supra Sick Infra, directed by Paco Plaza, who did Wreck. Okay, familiar with Wreck. Great found footage film, and I don't like found footage films. And Coochie Coochie Coo, directed by Anna Ziokovic. Sorry, I messed that up. Who did Appendage. Oh, I never saw Appendage, but that was on Hulu, and I heard it was pretty solid. So, those are the segments. We'll see. Then October 7th, we have the newest season of the Boulet Brothers Dragula. This is their Titans Season 2. I fell off of this show mainly because I had been watching it with my wife, and she decided she's kind of done with it because she didn't like the mean-spiritedness of it. It started to get like more and more mean-spirited, so she was kind of like, I'm out. So I kind of fell off it for that reason, but in the Boulet Brothers Dragula season, Titan Season 2, 14 of the fiercest drag artists from past seasons will return to battle in design, performance, and makeup-based challenges inspired by horror, science fiction, fantasy, and the supernatural. The competitors will have to survive the show's pillars of filth, horror, and glamour in order to win the crown and the $100,000 grand prize, a headlining spot on the forthcoming world tour, and the title of Queen of the Underworld. Yeah, So, all right, David Dastmalchian will be one of the guests. Todd McFarlane, Jennifer Tilly, Kate Segal, Don Mancini, nice. He's been on there before, I know. Peaches Christ, always on there. I love Peaches Christ, by the way. Super cool. Ryan Turek, yeah. Okay, then coming on October 17th, this is a Shudder film premiere. It's called Other. Alice returns to her childhood home after her mother's death, only to find the house is rigged with surveillance tracking her every move as a sinister presence lurks, driving her towards a terrifying revelation. Okay. Fangoria Chainsaw Awards are going to be on there on October 19th. Those are always a fun time. It's just an annual awards ceremony, and then it'll be streaming on there, just available on demand on October 20th, because it's like a live airing on the 19th. So the Joe Bob continues with the last drive-in. So October 24th, you're going to have Joe Bob's Splatterween. Halloween is going to be messy this year. Joe Bob and Darcy are joined by the interdimensional rock legends of Gwar for Splatterween, a night filled with spew, goo, live music, and of course, two nasty flicks busting at the seams with splatter foo. Pretty excited that Gwar's going to be on there. That's super fun. I love the fact that they set that up. Looking forward to that. And then coming October 30th, I am not excited for this because I'm hearing very bad things from their early screenings of it. Hell House LLC Lineage. I'm also hearing, allegedly the filmmakers are asking people in these screenings, they're sensing people did not like it and saying, even if you didn't like it, make sure you review it well so that we can make more of these movies. Even though I read in a Rue Morgue article an interview with them saying that they're done with these movies and they're going to make other movies. I don't know. That's weird to me. Also, it feels disgusting to me to ask people to lie about their experience with a film. Just saying. Haunted by visions and recurring nightmares years after a near-death experience, Vanessa Shepard finds herself living in the town of Abaddon, unable to break free from its unexplainable hold on her. When people around her suddenly and inexplicably begin to die, she soon uncovers her terrifying connection to the Abaddon Hotel, the Carmichael Manor, and the mysterious murders that have been occurring for decades, long before Hell House LLC. Okay. One thing I do need to say, though, after I went on that diatribe, is that I'm sure it's also very hard to have a successful franchise like that, where people just keep asking you for more of it, and you're running out of ideas, and there's a lot of pressure to it. And then also the fact that it seems like these filmmakers want to move on, and they feel like they're kind of like have been stuck, unfortunately. So I feel that. All right, skipping over the September stuff. Okay, October. So starting October 1st, they're going to be dropping a bunch of Hitchcock stuff, which is awesome to me. I think I might actually watch some of that, make my wife watch it, because that's like more accessible horror for her. The first one is Psycho. A secretary on the run for embezzlement takes refuge at a secluded California motel owned by a repressed man and his overbearing mother, to say the least. Rear Window. Love Rear Window. A bored photographer recovering from a broken leg passes the time by watching his neighbors and begins to suspect one of them of murder. Definitely worth it. Then The Birds. I actually haven't seen The Birds before, even though I do own it, technically. Although I loaned it to my parents, I still have that. A wealthy San Francisco socialite pursues a potential boyfriend in a small Northern California town that slowly takes a turn for the bizarre when birds of all kinds suddenly begin to attack people. And then Vertigo, which I also have not seen but I own, and my parents have borrowed. A former San Francisco police detective juggles wrestling with his personal demons and becoming obsessed with the hauntingly beautiful woman he has been hired to trail, who may be deeply disturbed. Cool. Should watch it. Then they're gonna have there's 4 of them. 4 rec films. The 4 rec films are going to be on there. So I don't like found footage, but the first rec film I did see and thought it was very good. I haven't seen any other ones. Please give me a recommendation if you've seen the other rec films in the comments. Should I watch them or should I not? If I like the first one, but don't like found footage. A television reporter and cameraman follow emergency workers into a dark apartment building and are quickly locked inside with something terrifying. Then Rec 2, in order to ascertain the current situation inside, a supposed medical officer and a GEO team step into the quarantine and ill-fated apartment building. Then Rec 3, Genesis. A couple's wedding day turns horrific as some of the guests start showing signs of a strange illness. And then Rec 4, Apocalypse. An ill-fated television reporter is rescued and sent on a voyage across the ocean, but she is followed by the deadly virus that has plagued her and numerous others. And then also coming on the 1st, Wolf Creek. A lot of people love Wolf Creek. It is a good film. 3 backpackers stranded in the Australian outback are plunged inside a hellish nightmare of insufferable torture by a sadistic, psychopathic local. That is actually kind of based on true events in Australia. The next one is Final Prayer, aka The Borderlands. A team of Vatican investigators descend upon a church in a remote area to demystify the unusual happenings, but what they discover is more disturbing than they had first imagined. Doesn't sound like my thing. And then the last one coming October 1st is High Tension. Best friends Marie and Alexia decide to spend a quiet weekend at Alexia's parents' secluded farmhouse, but on the night of their arrival, the girls' idyllic getaway turns into an endless night of horror. It's been on Shudder before. I highly recommend High Tension. It was part of the whole like French extremity movement in the early 2000s. And it's really good. It's really messed up and gory. There's some really, really over the top like gore scenes that I really enjoy. A lot of people hate the ending for a very understandable reason, but I was fine with it. Check it out. Okay, the next 4 films are coming October 6th. Witch. An isolated Puritan family in 1630s New England comes unraveled by the forces of witchcraft and possession. Not my thing. When a Stranger Calls from 1979. I actually haven't seen this one, so I need to make sure I do that. A psychopathic killer terrorizes a babysitter, then returns 7 years later to menace her again. I've heard it's good. Then Invader. A young woman arrives in the Chicago suburbs and begins to suspect that something terrible has happened to her missing cousin, but soon realizes that her greatest fears don't even begin to scratch the surface. Sounds interesting. And then Crumb Catcher is the last one coming on the 6th. A newlywed couple is held captive in a remote lake house by a maniacally optimistic inventor and his sour wife, who are desperate to finance his dream project with a half-baked blackmail plot. Okay. Then October 15th, they're going to be having Etheria Film Night 2025. Etheria is the world's most respected showcase of new horror, comedy, science fiction, fantasy, action, and thriller films made by emerging women directors. They've been doing that every year for a while now. That's the only thing coming on October 15th. Then October 17th, they're going to have all 3 seasons of the show Hemlock Grove. Now, I have seen Hemlock Grove. I think I only saw the first 2 seasons. I quit after 2. 2 wasn't very good, but the first season, I recommend. Just watch the first season and then quit. I'm telling you. Hemlock Grove. A teenage girl is brutally murdered in the small Pennsylvania town of Hemlock Grove, where secrets lie and the darkest evils hide in plain sight. And then one that people probably have been wanting to come to Shudder for a while. Jacko, which I saw a few years ago and really did enjoy. Teens vandalize a grave on Halloween and accidentally free an evil being called Jacko. It's one of those like so bad it's good films, but it's a fun time and it's very Halloween-y. And then the last movie, coming October 22nd, Tale of Tales. From the bitter quest of the Queen Longtrellis to 2 mysterious sisters who provoke the passion of King, to the King of High Hills obsessed with a giant flea, these tales are inspired by the fairy tales by Giambattista Basile. Okay, that was just a bunch of gibberish to me, basically. Means nothing to me. Doesn't sound interesting at all. It says additional highlights for November and December will be announced at a later date. Okay, well, it's almost September, so duh. Okay, so you see what I mean by being like, this is their 10-year anniversary. They should have been going even bigger, but like I said, I'm sure their budget is super limited by AMC. Now, I will say the bright point is they in September and October are stepping up their original content with like the Boulet Brothers Dracula, you know, the Splatterween that the Last Drive-In is doing, which sounds like it's going to be even more grandiose than what they typically do. The Guts and Glory show, you know, those types of things, very interesting to me. But yeah, a lot of the other stuff, it's a little disappointing. But let me know your opinion on it. Go ahead and put it in the comments. What are you really excited about that's coming to Shudder? What are you bummed about? What should I avoid that I haven't seen? Especially let me know about those rec films. Are they worth it? Yeah, go ahead and put it in the comments. Do me a quick favor, though. If you like this video or any video I've ever done, please subscribe to the channel. That's a free way to support me. Also, thumbs up on the videos really helps with that YouTube algorithm, and also notification bell button will let you know when I'm putting up new videos, which I do a decent amount. And then if you want to get a little more involved and kind of throw me a few dollars each month for what I'm doing and get some perks with the channel in exchange, there's a link in the description for memberships. There are 3 levels to it, so you can just kind of take a look, see what might appeal to you. Yeah, and that's it. But regardless, thanks so much for taking your time to watch this, and until next time, keep it brutal.